What's up, guys? It's Chris, and today we're going to install a 50-gallon Bradford white water heater using only tools from Harbor Freight. Yep, that's a Harbor Freight hose, my Harbor Freight transfer pump, and going to basically only be using Harbor Freight tools for this. If you guys have never drained a water heater using a transfer pump before, you definitely need to do that, especially if you're one of the people who likes to drain their heater annually. Here I'm using the strap from my strap wrench to take the heater down. I don't have like super long arms, and using a little strap or even a piece of rubber hose or something is really good to help you take these heaters up and down. Just a little trick of the trade. So here I'm going to put on the TMP valve, and I'm going to use Teflon. Again, you can find this Teflon at Harbor Freight. I believe it comes in like a 10-pack for like $5 or something like that. It's pretty much a no-brainer. I don't like putting piped up on my TMP valves, temperature and pressure relief valves, because I had a string of them at one point go. A string of these temperature and pressure relief valves were popping on me on brand new heaters I had installed. And only thing I could think was I had been using pipe dope on them, and I was using the Slick Tight brand pipe dope, the white stuff. For whatever reason, it was just, I felt that was the only thing me and my buddy could come up with that was causing the temperature and pressure relief valves to pop prematurely. So I don't recommend using pipe dope on TMP valves. Also, you want to be really careful when installing this TMP valves. You don't put any pressure there around where the threads are, because you can oval out those threads real quick, and then you won't be able to thread in the either nipple or MIP, whatever it is you're using to run your temperature and pressure relief line. Once these valves pop, they will go back. You can actually take them out and soak them in some CLR and get them to work again, but typically probably just better off replacing them. I never use these corrugated copper lines when I'm installing water heaters. I've seen these lines get pinholes on them. I've seen all kinds of stuff happen, especially when they're insulated. Insulating these copper lines is just like asking for a problem. So much corrosion builds up. The copper gets electrolysis because it's copper on brass, and as you know, copper is a very particular metal. It's not supposed to be resting on other metals. So the copper and brass always corrodes the hell out of the nipples on the water heaters. Just causes a lot of corrosion. So I don't ever recommend using these. I would use the stainless steel supplies like I use. So here's the stainless steel flexes that I like to use, and I'm going to use the Doyle pliers that you can find at Harbor Freight. I'm also going to use, obviously, Channellocks and Knipex occasionally from here or there in this video. Wasn't done intentionally, but I'm just basically, every tool I'm using in this video you can find at Harbor Freight. You can find a comparable tool at Harbor Freight. Even if it's not exactly a tool that I bought at Harbor Freight, you can buy one just like it at Harbor Freight. But I didn't go into this video planning to install a heater only using tools from Harbor Freight, but I just noticed while I was editing it that I had used majority tools from Harbor Freight, so I figured it'd be kind of cool just to make a video like this saying, installed a water heater using only tools from Harbor Freight. And the Doyle pliers are actually really freaking good. Like, I was really impressed with their quality. I haven't seen if they're gonna hold up for a long period of time yet or not. But I'll say this: they definitely seem at the time as quality as my Channellocks. So we'll see how long their teeth hold up, and all that stuff. But for the time being, they seem pretty quality. So I'm gonna ride with them. And they had an 8-inch plier, which I thought was kind of cool because neither Knipex or Channellocks makes an 8-inch. So I bought those, and they seem to be holding up. So you guys have seen me make these before. I'm making a gas drip leg out of 1/2-inch galvanized pipe. This drip leg obviously is something that Bradford White wants you to do when installing their heaters. This way, it's basically a sediment trap, and it's supposed to catch any sediment before it goes into the control and messes something up inside the control. This water heater is actually pretty neat. It comes with the new Bradford White controls, the new Honeywell Smart Control, which is an improvement on the original design, which basically, in my opinion, revolutionized water heaters. And I've seen guys make videos saying things like, oh, there's too many wires, and look at all them wires, look at all them tubes, why would you want that? And it's like, come on, dude. That's crazy talk, man. Because there's more wires and tubes makes it not as good of a control valve. You think the old control's better? Believe me, the new Honeywell is a game changer. So when you get a new water heater, you definitely want to go Bradford White. You definitely want to get a Honeywell control. So code in our area for a water heater install, you have to use a vinyl flex line. So that's what I'm using here, attaching the vinyl flex line. Now I like to use my Knipex pliers wrench on this because the Knipex are flat jaws. They don't have any teeth. They're not going to create any problems. They're not going to round out the flex line nut or anything like that. So these Knipex are just awesome pliers. You can also use just like a open end wrench, an adjustable wrench, the Kentucky fits all, whatever you call it. But the Knipex are definitely a great improvement on that design. In this video, I used these cloth straps that are similar to seat belts, and I don't recommend using these. It's just my supply house was completely out of the steel straps at the time, and this was the only thing they had, and I had to get this water heater in, obviously. So yeah, that's why I went with these. Not a big fan of these. My dad used to use these, but I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like they may be good. I don't know. I like the steel ones. I feel like the steel ones are sturdier. So now it's time for the TMP line, temperature and pressure relief line. And code in this area says that the TNP, the temperature and pressure relief line, is to be no more than 6 inches above the concrete slab. So you have to make sure that it's no higher than 6 inches above the concrete slab. And in all honesty, why else would you want it any higher? Because if the temperature and pressure relief valve blows, it's going to spray everywhere. So closer to the ground, the better. But they want it no lower than 6 inches to the ground also. So it's to be 6 inches above the ground. And in many cities, I'll just plumb the temperature and pressure relief line directly into the pan, because obviously you plumb the pan off of the stand anyways, so if it blows into the pan. But in this particular city, they call for that. So now I'm lighting the heater. To light the heater, you're gonna turn the knob to pilot, push the knob in, and press on the igniter. The igniter is gonna throw off a spark. That spark will catch the gas, create a flame, and then the light will begin blinking green, the little LED light on the control. This is a smart control. It's awesome. It's got a whole panel of a whole breakdown of what each LED blink means right there above the strap. There's a whole breakdown of the LED blinks, what they mean, so you can completely diagnose and troubleshoot this heater before even calling a plumber out to your house. You could know what's wrong with it. So another reason I really love the Bradford white heaters. They're just such awesome heaters. You really can't go wrong with this heater, guys. All right, so now I'm going to finish plumbing in the temperature and pressure relief valve line. There's my tape measure. That's a Harbor Freight item as well. Every tool I use in this video can be found at Harbor Freight. Maybe not the exact same brand, but definitely a very similar tool. A tool that will get the job done. So you can literally go to Harbor Freight and buy every tool you need to install a water heater from start to finish while you're there. I'm not sure if Harbor Freight sells flux and solder for soldering in the temperature and pressure relief line, but you don't even have to solder it. You could pipe it out with nipples, which you can buy threaders at Harbor Freight. There's just like so much crazy stuff you can buy at Harbor Freight. You could literally probably build a water heater with stuff you can find at Harbor Freight. It's crazy. I love that store. And their tool quality has just been getting so much better. It's like everybody used to hate on the quality of the tools and all that stuff, but the quality's been getting a lot better. I mean, it's really comparable to what you find at most big box stores. I like using the Everflux. I know everybody else has their different choices in flux, the no corrode, the OD, all that stuff, but the Everflux is what I use. To me, it's the best flux you can buy. It's the same flux that, you know, the guys who trained me used, and that's the flux I like. Along with my Goss torch. I love my Goss torch. That thing's awesome. Again, you can buy a torch at Harbor Freight. You can buy a really nice looking torch at Harbor Freight. I'm actually going to buy it while I was looking it up for this video. The picture looks like a really nice freaking torch, and it comes with some really cool, interesting heads. So I'm going to be buying that torch. It's only like $30, and you can attach it to MAP gas. It says it's for propane, but you can also attach it to MAP gas and use it to plumb in, you know, to do plumbing, to solder lines. Gonna use a little bit more of that Harbor Freight Teflon here. Boom, bam. There's the Doyles, 8-inch Doyles. Those 8-inch Doyles are perfect, man. If any of you guys out there have like 10-inch Knipex or 10-inch Channellocks, you think it's just a little bit too big sometimes, try those Doyles. Get those 8-inch Doyles, because they're right in between the 10-inch and like the either 5.5 or 6.5 or 7-inch Knipex or Channellocks. They're right there, and they're just like a little bit bigger, and they're nice, man. Like, I like having them. I mean, when I saw the 8-inch, I was like, I don't care if they're crappy, man. I'm gonna buy them. And then I was really impressed with their quality. Their quality, I'm not kidding, is right up there with Channellock. Now, again, I haven't seen them last. I don't know if they're gonna last as long as my Channellocks. Probably not. Probably not gonna last as long as my Knipex. But for $8.99, whatever. Here we go. We're going to use the capillary action on our soldering here. Heat the bottom. Let the heat pull the solder into the joint on both sides. This is 3/4 inch pipe, so I should only be using about 3/4 inch of solder per fitting, per weld. Got a little bit of a cold, sorry.